Will you just come get me?
No.
Well, will you do me a favor then?
What?
Can you bring me my chapstick?
All right, it's time for us to do regression with categorical variables. Whoa, hold on. You said in the intro class that regression was for numerical by numerical variables only. Yeah, so we kind of lied. There is a way to do categorical variables. Now, in this class, we're still only going to be working with numerical responses, but then we'll have categorical X variables to help predict that response. Are you talking about having one X categorical variable or like having lots of X's, some are numerical, some are categorical? What are we talking about? Well, I guess both. But we want to build up to where we have the final project, which means our ultimate goal is to have lots of numerical and lots of categorical variables all trying to predict that response. I found some difficulty when I've taught this in the past because there's different types of learners. For example, I like to learn all the little details and then you can start to put those details together until it creates this big overall picture. Not for me, no. I want the big overall picture first, and then when you give me little details, I can put them into place to see where it all fits in that map. Okay, any of those learning styles is fine, that's great. So when I teach this, often half the class is getting lost depending on which method I use. So why don't we just do an overall real quick, and people who don't like that can kind of gloss over it. That'll help. Okay, that's a great idea. This video will go fast, and then I'll have another video that'll go through the overall picture, and then we'll go into little details with the other videos. So if you get lost, that's okay. Watch all the videos, maybe a second time through. Hopefully it'll work with whatever your learning style is. And if as you're going through it, you find yourself saying, whoa, you lost me, that's not weird, hang on. So, super high-speed overview. We're going to be trying to predict a numerical variable, in this case fat. We're going to use income, but we also have type, which is categorical. Type can be sat for saturated, fats, and then there's mono, and at the very bottom we have poly. So a brief overview. We're looking at data where weight is numerical, that's what we want to predict, how much time they spend on the internet, and their political party, which is categorical. We have Democrat, Independent, and Republican. Looking at my data set, this last one here, party, that's categorical with 3 different categories. I can plot it and color it by the categories. It looks like red is maybe doing something different than green, which suggests that the category is important. When I make my LM command, I'm going to have what I want to predict based off, here's how much time on the internet, and here's the categorical one. There's also a version of both multiplied, and the reason why is longer than what I can do in 3 minutes, but just believe me, this is the right way to run it. But my summary fit now is much larger. We're used to seeing all these different things, and we're even used to seeing a line for the intercept right here, and a line for the slope here for net. That would make sense, but these extra pieces are what the categorical effect has brought on. The residual standard error and R squared are still interpreted the same way. So we're going to need some videos to talk about how do you read each and every line and what does it mean. Democrats aren't showing up, and we'll need a video on that. But rather than wasting my last minute going into more about that right now, the next video we'll talk about it a little more. I want to show you that you can draw the lines that are different for each of these. We're going to use the same hat trick that we've seen before. Here are my X hats, but when we talk about the Y hats, it depends on which political party you belong to. So I'll need a hat for Democrats, and to do that, I'm going to need to know which of these numbers apply to the Democrat. We'll talk about how to know exactly where those go. But once you've gotten good at knowing where to put the right numbers, then you can draw the Democrats line and the Independents line and the Republicans line, and you can see Democrats and Independents seem to be behaving about the same, whereas Republicans are different.